Hello and welcome to With Two. So this week we're going to zero in on raising a confident child. How do you raise a confident child? Last week we talked about the importance of letting them know the child of who they are. Okay? The child of whom they are, the child of who they are. What's the right one? Anyway, you get the point. Okay, so what their identity helps them to do is to become confident in their choice of life, in the way they want to live, because they understand who they are. A queen, a princess does not explain her disciplines, does not explain the things. In fact, you naturally expect her not to dress a certain way, you naturally expect her to speak a certain way, you naturally expect him to fight a certain way because, well, he's a king, because, well, he's a prince, she's a princess. Okay, and that is how we raise confident children, so that they don't need to explain their nomenclature, they don't need to explain their beliefs, they don't need to in this world where evil is glorified over good. It's important that they understand who they are. So we continue with our anchor scripture, 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. Why? Why are you all of those things? Because you're to show forth the praises, the excellency. A particular translation says, the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So there is an excellency that is expected of you to show forth. Yes. And so you must be confident enough to pull in that excellency. Last month we talked about how to become an excellent-minded child, or how to raise an excellent-minded child. And we see that the root here is because we want to glorify God. Our excellence in the things that we do, excellence in the way that we live our lives, actually bring God glory. Alright? So why should you raise a confident child? Because, number one, a child who is confident is able to assert herself humbly, meekly, but in the truest sense. A child who is raised to be confident is able to do what she wants to do, what God has asked her to do, or what in the provisions of the kingdom she is assigned to do, without feeling that her own is too much, without feeling that she is too serious with life. Okay, raising a confident child also entails that she is able to pursue the things that she is naturally gifted to pursue without explaining herself to anyone. She's able to pick who her friends are. She's able to relate with the kind of people she wants to relate with. She's able to bring her creativity to the fore. She's able to speak up in the most he or she is able to speak up in the most respectable manner, but yet able to pass on their information, or pass on their ideas, or pass on their opinion, right? Raising a confident child is a way to show forth God's excellence. So how do you raise a confident child? Number one, we already dealt with that in week 1, teaching them who they are. When they have a grasp of their identity, when they have an understanding of who they are, it will be very difficult to put them low. And you have to do this from the very beginning. You have to do that from the very beginning. You have to give them the orientation. And it's not a question of your class, your financial or economic class, okay? It's not even a question of the kind of where they come from and all of those things. Those things are important. Those things are really nice and good to have. But that's not important. That shouldn't determine how they see themselves. They see themselves from who they are, what they are capable of delivering. Those things that are external, they're actually able to create that kind of environment around them because they are confident. They are confident in their skills and their ability. They are confident in the fact that the things that they know how to do, somebody needs it somewhere. So raising a confident child begins from letting them see the scripture, letting them showing forth from the perspective of the scripture. That's number one. Number two, raising a confident child. To raise a confident child, you have to be able to be calm and collected when you are correcting them. When you talk down on them, when you tell them things that are not what you want to see. For example, when a child misbehaves and you say the child is ode is a Yoruba word for a fool, okay, for someone who is a fool. You are constantly affirming the child that he or she is a fool. That child is not going to draw confidence from it. Raising a confident child means that correction is done in love and that affirmation is done constantly and regularly. It shouldn't be something that comes occasionally. It should be done regularly. For nothing else, just because they are your children, you must affirm them. That's how you raise a confident child. The third way to raise a confident child is to allow them sort through their mess. Permit me to use that word. It's not a show of love to constantly run to them and help them sort it out. Because if you keep doing that, you're going to reduce their own level of confidence. They are going to feel that they are not able to think through a solution by themselves. You should give them guidelines, of course. You should lay down the basic principles. You should give them access to the information they need and then allow them to walk through it. So you messed up the room. Congratulations. Well done. I see that you've been busy. Can you please put back the room the way it ought to be? And then you say it, shut the door, and leave. And give them time. Give them correct information. Give them time. And allow them to sort it out themselves. They feel, unfortunately, these things happen. Okay? Yes, we speak the scriptures, but when we have to deal with it, let's deal with it. So what went wrong? What actually went wrong? That you failed your mathematics doesn't make you a failure. It is an indication that you might need to pay attention or to tell me what exactly went. And don't ask these questions from a mindset of vindication. No, that's not the word. From the mindset of trying to accuse them, trying to make them feel bad, or not really being true with the things you're saying. If you tell them, okay, tell me what went wrong, let it be sincere. So it might be that the teacher, they don't like the teacher. And the truth is, if you don't like a teacher, it's difficult to learn what the teacher is teaching. So what's the reason why they don't learn? It might even be an insight into something that is going wrong in the life of the child. So instead of glossing it, allow them to talk about it. Talk about it openly and sincerely. And then find solution and let them have their own responsibility. Let there be something that they have to do. You don't have to bail them out all the time. You are not going to teach them to be confident that way. You don't have to bail them out all the time. They have to learn to walk through situations. And do you know the joy that comes, to their faces and also that lights up their hearts when they are able to eventually sort it out? They go, yes! Mom, I have done it. Dad, I have done it. And you go, yeah, that's my son. That's my boy. That's my girl. Okay? You take pride in them. So teach them who they are, their sense of identity. Let it be rooted. Number 2, say the things that you want to say. Number 3, don't always be the one. Allow them to learn by fixing it. And number 4, how to raise a confident child. Don't shut them down when they're talking. There is a place for home training. There's a place for teaching your child how to speak. There's a place for, all of those things, culturing them. But there's also a thin line between teaching them respect and trying to shut them down. Let them speak. You might afterwards, teach them, okay, you can put it in a better way. Don't say it like that, but I understand what you're saying. Let them speak. A confident child is a child that understands that their opinion is being heard. And let them know that they deserve to be heard. Yes, they are small, tiny humans, but that doesn't take away the desire to be heard. That doesn't take away their right to be heard. Let them speak and listen and communicate with them. Don't say, when I was your age, I didn't used to. Well, guess what? That was then. This is now. Hello. We're raising children for the future that they will grow into, not for the past. So, this is how you raise a confident child. And above all, remember that anything that is committed to the Lord never falters. So commit it to the Lord, pray about it, walk through it, and you will see results. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click the subscribe button, and be ready for your small group discussion so that you will actually share your own point of views and we'll all learn together. Thank you again and have an amazing rest of the week.